So, I'm going to be doing another comic review, and this is another book sent to me by my friend Chris. Thank you as always, brother. And today we're going to be talking about Rogue the Savage Land. This is one of those lost stories kind of comics. I've been loving Marvel does them. I don't like. There's been kind of a steady stream. You still occasionally see them. It's not to the height where when Peter David wrote Symbiote Spider-Man, and that was just more to like hype up. If you guys remember, the first Symbiote Spider-Man comic was more to be like, we don't have a lot of good Mephisto stories, and Mephisto's the villain in Spider-Man Far From Home. So yeah, make a Mysterio story, Peter David, and Greg Land's going to do the artwork. And Peter David went, okay, rest in peace, Peter. But yeah, we've been seeing a lot of these comics. A lot of them are from original creators, but we've also seen some newer like new age creators come in and do these books. This is by Tim Seeley. Now, let's get this out of the way right now. The storyline that this is based off of is a little like infamous for, you know, a little being a little too gratuitous. This comic is set between Uncanny X-Men number 269 and 274. Basically, in that time span, the X-Men, Rogue had basically lost her powers after battling Carol Danvers and was lost in the Savage Land, where she was found by Magneto. And that was the end of that story. And then in 270, the X-Men came in 274, while Nick Fury and the others were in Savage Land hunting for Magneto, where they found Rogue again and all that. So this basically like what happened in that gap. It's very much like the Wolverine comic I did not too long ago by Chris Claremont, as well as a few other stories. So they're being a little niche with a lot of these comics. But yeah, the comic is known more for, well, the comic is a little more infamous because, well, it's basically, you know, kind of being a little too TNA for this storyline of just Rogue in a bikini and barely clad in clothes. So yeah. Anyway, this is that story of what happened to Rogue and Magneto during their time in the Savage Land. So the comic starts with basically explaining like what happened to Rogue after she encountered that version of Carol in the Savage Land and being found in Magneto, and also why her clothes are all torn to shreds, because she basically says, I was in the Savage Land for 3 days and I had like, there's not exactly a seamstress around, so I'm kind of running on I'm running on fumes here with this costume. So they do give a reason as to why it was all torn to pieces. I mean, it's a logical step. I mean, you're in a land of dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals. It's kind of unsubtle, but still. Anyway, so her and Magneto team up, and what they discover is that Ka-Zar has gone missing. And they know this because Zabu goes to look for Zabu, the Sabretooth, that is the pet, or rather the tiger brother of Ka-Zar, goes to find Rogue and Magneto to help him find Ka-Zar. So that's the book has Rogue, Magneto, and Ka-Zar also discovering a plot by the Savage Land mutants, because this is the Savage Land, and your options for villains in the Savage Land are basically the Savage Land mutants or Sauron or Stegron sometimes. That's it. But we do get a deep cut from Tim Seeley, who I think I forgot to mention. Yeah, Tim Seeley's the writer here, and Seeley actually brings up a pretty cool deep cut from the Ka-Zar ongoing back in the 70s. If you remember, yeah, Ka-Zar had an ongoing in the 70s, and we get to see one of his old rogues come back. So I thought that was pretty cool. The artwork by Zulema Scott Lana with Von Randall. God, I butchered that first name so bad. It's pretty solid. I like the deep shadows and whatnot in the book. Also, Career Andrews does the cover art. I think it's the artwork's pretty serviceable. It doesn't try to emulate the Jim Lee artwork we had before, which I think is probably the smart idea, if I'm being honest. I think that's the logical step for a book like this. Yeah, I think also the storyline of one of the Savage Land mutants trying to become a god is a pretty done to death story, but it's pretty fun. And also, the dinosaur nut in me also loves the idea of zombie dinosaurs, as well as seeing other species of dinosaurs being used here, like Eutyrannus. I thought that was pretty cool. The comic does have some moments where it's like, that was a little uncool. Like the moment where Rogue is talking to Kazar, and she's like, "Look, my powers are off, and I have it, and like I can touch people now." And I really haven't been touched in a long time. And Kazar's like, "Whoa, no, I am married, ma'am. I have you ever heard of Shauna? Yeah, that's my wife." And he doesn't take it personally. He's just like, "What? I get it, but like, no." They also do kind of hint at the whole Rogue Magneto thing, which I've never liked. I don't think anyone likes the whole Rogue Magneto relationship. It's very much like, why do we keep pushing for Batman and Barbara? It's on that level of like, no, we don't want that. Nobody wants this relationship, and you're creepy if you do. So yeah, they do kind of hint at it. It's not gratuitous as it is in the original books, but they do hint at it because obviously that was part of the story. The comic also isn't all about TNA, thank God, like the issues it's based off of. But I will say that it actually holds its own. I can hear Lenore Zahn in the dialogue, the voice actress for Rogue from the '90s cartoon, and I guess you could say the new cartoon too. So yeah, it's serviceable. I think like that's the thing with these Lost Tales Marvel books, is that they're all meant to be just fun. They're just fun little like, when did this happen? And let's go back. I will say though, I kind of wish, because they have both issues of these Lost Tales. I wish what they did, like kind of like the Wolverine book from Chris Claremont, where they had the first issue that this is based off of at the beginning to tell you like this is where it starts, and then they end the other issue as like an epilogue. Kind of wish that was the case. Anyway, so I think this is fun. Tim Seeley's a hit and miss writer for me, but I think when he hits, he does a good enough job. And this isn't like overcomplicated as some of Tim Seeley's stories tend to get. So would I recommend Rogue the Savage Land? Yeah. I think if you love these Marvel Lost Tales books, I think you're going to enjoy this. It's and also if you're a Rogue fan, give it a shot. But yeah, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this. Chris, thank you once again for the book. And yeah, if you've read Rogue the Savage Land, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of it. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.